Good evening, my fellow Malaysians. This is Dr. K.N. Singh again with my explanation on the current affairs that plague the nation. The dropping of all 47 charges in Deputy Prime Minister Zahidi's case have really shocked the nation. Prime Minister Anwar's promise to fight corruption turns out to be a hollow promise for elections only. Following this, YB Siddiqui resigned from the Medini government, depriving it of the two-thirds majority. This really doesn't mean much, as YB's side will still vote with his conscience for the betterment of the nation. Side left the government bloc on a matter of principle, as someone has to stand up and say what is right. If everybody keeps quiet and goes along with the government, it would lead to complacency and acceptance of wrong values. I resonate with this stand, as that's why I stand up to say what I think is right, and the Malaysian public appreciates my speaking up on their behalf. I applaud Syed Siddique's determination to do the right thing. Let's analyze the reason why Syed Siddique left the government. He is understandably upset that Deputy Prime Minister Zahidi's charges were dropped by this government, as many other middle class educated Malays were also very disappointed. Dr. Anwar says they were dropped by the judge. But let's get to the bottom of the affairs, how this happened. The previous deputy prosecutor, Raja Rosila, who successfully filed the charges against the Deputy Prime Minister Zahidi, was retired early and was asked to go on leave from the 30th of August before her retirement on the 1st of November. The new public prosecutor, Dato Muhammad Zuki Mokhtar, was appointed as lead prosecutor and was asked by the AG Idrus Harun, who is actually retiring in August, to drop these charges that were laid against Zahidi. This decision was made by the Attorney General, Idris Harun, who is answerable to only the PM. Apparently, he has had many meetings with the PM on this issue, which are actually on public record. This trial actually began on November 2019 and had gone on for 77 days, with 99 prosecution witnesses called and 15 defense witnesses called. A prima facie case was established by DPP Raja Rosila very competently. The Deputy Prime Minister Zahidi was ordered to enter his defense on all 47 charges, which means that the prosecution had already proved through credible evidence each ingredient of the 47 offences that Zahidi is charged with. This would warrant a conviction if these charges were unrebutted or explained. After this, all that was needed was a judgment by the presiding judge, Justice Colin Sekera, for Zahidi to be convicted if the learned judge agreed with the DPP. Since the case was withdrawn by the Deputy Public Prosecutor, there is nothing for the judge to pass a judgment on, and he had to give a discharge, but decided to give a discharge not amounting to an acquittal, which leaves Zahidi liable for further prosecution when more evidence is found, or the government decides to do it. The judge did make a comment that this was a complete waste of public funds to withdraw this case at this juncture. If Dato Anwar is actually right, the judgment was passed by the judge, but when the case was withdrawn by the Attorney General, the judge had no choice but to discharge this, as there was no case to pass judgment on, as the complaint had been withdrawn by the DPP under the AG's instruction. AG was presumably instructed by the government, as the AG is only answerable to the Prime Minister. It is quite clear that all this was manipulated, and that's why YB Syed Siddique resigned from the government. Kudos to him for defending principles and having stuck to his guns for what is right. YB Siddique is unique, as his involvement in Malaysian politics was prophesied before he was born. In my opinion, he will be the savior of Malaysia one day. I was a staunch supporter of the Madini government, but it looks like this government is comfortable with corruption and also tolerates incompetence in the civil service, as we have seen Najib's case thrown out of court as the DPP delayed in filing an appeal by 2 months, leaving the judge no choice but to throw the case out. This was really negligent, but so far no action has been taken against the prosecutor. I would urge the Prime Minister to read Tommy Thomas' book to see how negligent members of the AG's office really are. He may get some insights from this. There's really no point in getting a Royal Commission to review Tommy Thomas' book, as no Royal Commission recommendations have been given or followed so far. About the matter of separation of judiciary and the government, we all know that this is what the whole of Malaysia wants. There is talk that the Royal Commission will be appointed to look into this. Now, why on earth do we need a Royal Commission to do this? Call for Royal Commission is only a delayed tactic, as so far no Royal Commission has ever produced anything. The separation of the AG and the public prosecutor is mandatory, and the AG must be answerable to the Parliament, not to the Prime Minister, as this will encourage future Prime Ministers to tamper with justice because it is convenient. I've tried to explain how and why Zahidi's case was discharged. The riot can actually make up their own mind as to what happened. People have called YB Syed Siddique a punk, a spoiled child, and looks like he is the only one with the conscience and the spine to do the right thing. I hope Muda is really supported by the riot to become a third force, as this is the only party with a conscience and is doing the right thing. Finally, allocations must be given to all MPs, even opposition MPs, as they have been elected by the riot to do their job. And by withholding the grants to the opposition MPs, it may be seen that the government is penalizing the riot for voting the opposition. These are my personal views. You are free to make up your own mind as to what really happened. And thank you for listening. And until we meet again, God bless Malaysia. Good night.